The more I think about it, the more I'm starting to appreciate this stuff. Because it's not humid in here. You would think that being in my car all night breathing, it would get really humid and damp and like mold would start growing. It's not humid at all, and I'm pretty sure it's because of this. It's mildly annoying when I first go to start up my car, but it evaporates after like 10 minutes. It's getting much warmer now that we're going down south. It's kind of sad. Here on the West Coast, they've got a pretty large homeless problem, like San Francisco, Los Angeles. And the first place that those people go to is rest stops like this, because there's lots of amenities. And so what ends up happening is they just reduce the quality of the rest stops to stop homeless people from just like living here. You can definitely feel that. The quality of these rest stops is a lot less than what you'd find in states like Montana or North Dakota. Mirrors have been taken out. And of course, no outlets. I'm pretty sure we will find this to be a consistent theme all throughout California. They do have this nice little patio area, so if it's like raining, you can hide from the rain. I swear, it is perpetually foggy here. I'm not sure like what this is, but there are clouds fucking everywhere. This is actually why I pulled off last night, because of the fog. Somebody got upset in the casino video where I ended up fixing my tire. They said that it's not a good idea to do that. That's a temporary fix. You should just patch the tire and then immediately go and get like a new tire. My tire is still holding air, and so is this one. Do you guys remember when we were going to Alaska, that one popped and like I fixed it the same way? These have gone for like 7,000 miles so far without having a problem. Maybe it's a temporary patch in the grand scheme of like hundreds of thousands of miles, but it works pretty well. Oh, that's cold. You guys know what time it is? It's time for us to use our cool little 360 camera to get some cool shots of the fog while we're getting out of here. In hindsight, I'm really glad I stopped for the night. Driving through this at night would have been rough. We are getting off the interstate and we are getting onto the Redwood Forest Highway. Rather than just stopping in and seeing the Redwood Forest, I want to drive through the Redwood Forest. Of course, we're gonna get breakfast first. I am not sure if we're in California. I see lots of Oregon plates, so I think we're still in Oregon.
Head west toward Northwest 6th Street.
588. I see outlets. I always feel so awkward when I bring this massive battery into McDonald's. I'm glad that it's got the capacity that it does, but it is hard to justify the shame that comes from charging it. You do what you gotta do. Because of all of the discounts, that means that we paid less than $2 a pop for each one of these sandwiches. Now, all of the trees that you're able to drive through in the forest, pause, I mean drive through, like there's literally a hole in the tree like a tunnel. If you want to drive through a tree, there's 3 of them that you can do, and all of them are privately owned and they charge you like a fee. I'm not sure what the pricing structure is, but I want to drive through the forest and then I want to drive through a tree. I wouldn't be able to do that if we were still doing the DoorDash challenge, because spending 20, 25, 30, I don't know how much they charge for this, but paying extra money to drive through a tree doesn't make a lot of sense. We're able to do that now. Let's go drive through a fucking tree. I've taken this car to Alaska. I'm gonna drive it through a tree. The only state that I don't see myself actually getting my car is Hawaii, but I'm gonna think about that. Okay, pause. I just saw a sign that said that there's Oregon caves here. This might be a small little distraction from what I was planning, but seeing some caves would be pretty cool. My biggest concern about going and exploring caves is I know that these cameras don't do good when there's not a lot of light. So, we'll have to play that by ear. No overnight parking. People know what I'm about to do. It is a little bit dreary outside today. No cave tour Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I'm not sure what today is. So the ticket for the tour is $10. Okay, it's Thursday, so they do have tours. It's starting in like we have to go like right now. Apparently there is like a bat killing fungus in Europe, and they had made sure that I didn't like have any of the fungus on my clothes or anything like that. All of these are not clothes that I had in Europe, so we're good. But apparently there's bat killing funguses in European caves. I do think this is one of the situations where we're gonna use this guy just so you guys can get like a better view of the cave, because this camera is smaller, but I think this camera's gonna be better. I get distracted a little bit too easily. Like, I wanted to drive through trees this morning, and now we're going fucking cave touring. And they said they do allow cameras, so I can bring you guys. I would have brought you guys anyway, except I need to be less covert now. If they did not allow cameras, I would have to use this one, and I would keep it very quiet. But because they do allow them, I can bring the big fancy camera. Speaking of clothes I had in Europe, people keep asking me, they're like, oh, hey, isn't that the jacket you had in Europe? And no, I lost that one. I got a new one. I just got this on Amazon. It's literally the same jacket. My ears just popped. We seem to be gaining a lot of elevation. I honestly haven't seen another car on the road. It does not seem like anybody else is gonna be there for the tour, unless they're already at the site waiting. Now, I'm not sure how this is gonna work actually, because I'm not sure if you guys will be able to hear the tour guide when they're talking. And if there's a tour going on, I probably won't be able to talk to you guys directly. So this is probably gonna be more of a sightseeing tour than an audio tour. Fucking lock, god damn it. And if it's too dark for you guys to see, then I don't know. I hope I'm going to the place to register for the tour. I don't see any buildings or anything. Never mind, I found the buildings. Our elevation is 4,000 feet right now, so we are higher than we were when we were on the volcano. Is this the cave system? Whoa. Seeing in 3D like this is crazy.
Something I like to point over here is this tree root. Now this tree root actually comes from a Douglas fir that used to stand on the surface. Back in 1977, this tree was chopped down because this tree had a disease and it was a safety hazard for the people back in 1977. Now this root system is still here today because it is still providing nutrients for the cave animals in this cave. Different from these formations, because these formations were consistently touched over by people over time. We call this area the belly of the whale. cave is a little different. And I don't like to linger in here too long because of that little bat. While I'm talking, it's going to emit high frequencies that's irritating its ears. So we're not going to linger in here too long, but
they have emergency telephones inside the caves.
the only reason why I know it is because I'm a geology student. This is created from this light source because it's creating a warm enough environment for that population. We don't know exactly how this algae is affecting this cave, but we do know that we have to go through with very dilute cave bleach to clean it off. And when I say very dilute, I mean very dilute. It's almost water at that point. Yeah, so we call this room the ghost room for various reasons. One of those reasons is we find most of our animal remains here. We found a pair of jaguar bones that were dated to be around 38,000 years old, probably around 1980s, right around here. Now with the National Park Service, when we find animal bones, we have to create casts of those bones and place the bones back where we found them.
Whoa.
So we're gonna have some animal bones over here.
And this is another airlock to keep the wind from... Yep.
There is a latch placed above the airlock.
Still.
This is it. This is the end of the tour. You're gonna reach Falconer Trail in a couple of feet.
So you guys couldn't hear that when we were talking, but this is not a natural entrance to the cave. They actually had a company come and blow it out with dynamite. Yeah, I can take pictures of you guys if you want. One, two, three. Okay, stay a little bit farther out so that the shadow won't keep your faces. Yeah. So my 360 camera died while we were along the tour, so I'm not sure what kind of footage you guys will actually be able to see from that. I'm also not sure if it was too dark for you guys to see. I cranked my ISO up, but we'll see what happens when I'm editing. So while we were in there talking, obviously the cave is gorgeous, but a lot of the things we talked about were just, before the cave became a national park, it was just a tourist attraction. There were so many signatures of people like scratching their names. Oh, there's a deer. note, the guy that found this, I'm not sure if you guys were able to hear that, but the guy that found this, he was carrying a deer on his shoulder and his dog got lost in the cave. He ended up getting lost in the cave and used all of his matches to try to find himself. No, so as I was saying before I got distracted by the deer, this was just a place that people would go to come visit when they were just wanting to see something. So you see signatures scratched all over the rock. Apparently people, they would take stalactites, they would break them off, and they would keep them as like mementos, and so much dynamite. They used a bunch of dynamite to try to crack open stuff and try to like explore the caves more. It's actually warmer in the caves than it is out here. Oh my God, in the caves you could see algae growing, because what they did is they brought all of the lights in there, and the lights, they're kind of hot, so they emit heat. There's enough heat and there's enough light for algae to grow, and you can like see it. It's in the same shape as like the light beams. She shined her flashlight on it, so you could see like the lines of the algae follow exactly where the beams of light go. Apparently they are changing these to LEDs, and they're putting like a UV filter on it to make sure that it doesn't introduce any excess energy into the cave system. I paid $10 for the tour. Absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it. And they're shutting down for the winter in just a couple of days, so I got here just in time to be able to do this. I'm terrified that the footage from the camera is going to be just completely dark, or I'll have to crank the brightness up so high it looks like you're watching static. Even without the cave system, this place is fucking gorgeous. I think Oregon might be becoming my favorite state. Okay, the 360 camera is charging, so I won't be able to use this to get cool scenic footage on the way down, but we are gonna go head down and get back to where we've got Wi-Fi. I'll turn the heater on. It's just crazy to me. Something that takes so long to form, something that is so unique, and somebody just decides to go scratch their name on it. Back before they actually installed all of those electric lights, all of the tours were done with candlelight. Like they would literally bring candles in there and they would show everybody the caves via candlelight. Apparently that caused a problem because like wax would drip on the surface, and God, that would be fucking terrifying. Apparently it was like a multi-long day tour. They would like camp inside the caves. That'd be pretty cool. Hi. That was a super cool little detour. Actually, it does look like this is the last city before we get to California, so I'm gonna fill up on gas here because it gets crazy expensive as soon as we cross the border. Okay, got gas. That is another place that we would not have been able to go to if we were sticking to the original challenge, because that is a national monument and not a national park. Small difference, but we would not have gone there on the original itinerary. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to California. God, I should have been using this camera for the whole road trip. Days 1 through 5 would have been so much cooler if I was filming the driving with that thing. Okay, we have technically entered the Redwood National Forest. Holy shit, these trees are fucking massive. I'm not sure if this is even gonna come across on camera how big these fucking things are. Actually, nope, I'm stopping the car. We're getting out. Hand for scale. God fucking damn it. Holy shit. Okay, I'm not sure if we're allowed to. I'm not sure what the rules are for exploring. But I just want to see what this fucking thing looks like when there's not like interstates and roads and cars and... Oh, there's pokey bushes. I don't think I need to worry about snakes or anything like that, right? It's too cold. Okay. You guys are coming over here. Dude, you could literally live in these fucking things. Like, you could hollow out the inside of this thing. You could make like a little fucking house inside of a tree. This is so fucking cool. As I was saying earlier, there's 3 trees that have been hollowed out on the inside and you can actually drive your car through them. We're gonna visit one of those today or tomorrow, I'm not sure. I think the nearest one it said on the map is like 5 hours away actually. I am just in awe right now. Awestruck. Oh, that cop is chasing someone. Oh, that cop is chasing someone. Luckily, it's not me. I can only imagine what the first people who discovered this forest were thinking. God, this is so different from any other forest I've been in. Okay, gas isn't that much more expensive. It's $4.50 a gallon. I was expecting like $5 or $6, so this is actually the end of the video. I planned on filming more, but I forgot to, and then it's the end of the video. I came in here thinking that I would edit the 360 footage real quick, and then it ended up taking another 5 hours, so